and stood in your front yard several years ago. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
I thought I did. How's it going? Took care of the problem?
Yes, sir.
Good. Thank you, and then I'm going to kind of see where we are.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Captain Dave Markett, 19096 Gun Highway, Odessa, Florida. Don't live in Osceola County. I do bring tourists here on a very regular basis that support the economy in August and September strictly to alligator hunt. I'm a full-time licensed guide. The issue about West Lake Tahoe, Pelaga, being navigable, my understanding from the Coast Guard is it's an unsettled issue because it is connected by the Kissimmee River, and all other bodies of water in the KCOL are navigable. So that may be an issue for lawyers to discuss. Here's the point. The Florida Fish and Game Commission has doubled the limit of allowable alligators on these lakes each of the last 3 years. The population out there is exploding. I own and operate a kicker boat. I cannot perform my task in that lake with a kicker boat. First off, nothing has been mentioned here about the effect of outboards in heavily vegetated areas on your lake. If I run my outboard in your hydrilla, it will result in thousands of new tubers going to the bottom and reestablishing themselves and increasing the mat. It is not possible to pursue an alligator in the heavily vegetated areas with an outboard motor. It is not possible. I run an airboat on Lake Tahoe, bringing tourists from out of this area to alligator hunt. My airboat meets every United States Coast Guard and every state of Florida regulation. You cannot find my outboard to violate the state's noise regulation. My airboat. It is not possible. You can't do it. I have been intrigued in that a number of the complaints that were lodged on this body of water were taken at a time when the sheriff's officer was also on that water, and published reports say that there was no other airboat operating at that time. So when you understand that certain people can request and want government by vendetta, this very well may be the case. We have an exploding alligator population on your lake. If you want our help to help your citizens, let us do our job. We have legal motor vessels. You cannot find them in violation. Let us do our job. You understand that in August and September, the overwhelming majority of Osceola County residents have their windows closed and an air conditioner on. And I believe when an issue becomes a vendetta, people look for any excuse to complain. It is possible. It is plausible. When I have been stopped, I've been in full compliance. I do try to help you with the alligator issue. I cannot do the job without an airboat. And I don't believe that there is a single alligator trapping guide that can do the job on your water without an airboat. Thank you. Any questions?
Not yet.
Good afternoon. My name is John Littell, Dr. Littell. I'm at 2392 Starboard Cove in Hidden Harbor. And I want to start out by saying that I had a nice conversation with Margie Long, who heads up the Boggy Creek airboats that my family have enjoyed in the past, and I'm a very big enthusiast of airboating when it's not disrupting neighbors. And I might also add that at Granada Boulevard, just next to our home, there is a sign very prominently posted for all the airboaters to please respect those who live on the lake. Now, I happen to have built my home, if we can put that on hold for just a second. I built my home the furthest away from the lake that I could when I moved into that community 4 years ago. I didn't expect to have to lose more sleep than I already do by virtue of being on call. And as I've mentioned in my letters, the sound of those airboats, which sounds like a group of helicopters coming over my head, is louder than the cell phone. I gave up practicing obstetrics last October because my wife insisted. She knew that I was coming in at 2 in the morning from celebration and then be awakened at 2:30 and then get a phone call from a patient at 3:30 and then another airboat at 4 and another airboat at 5, or probably all the same airboat. I want to say two things, and I want to show a 45-second clip. There's been precedent about airboats being able to meet regulations. There was a study done that first of all, Florida Fish and Wildlife has its own airboat noise workshop that has stated that that those who patrol the highways or the lakes have to show that the vessels cannot produce a maximum sound exceeding 90 decibels. And yet, when this study that I have here, it was easy to get, just Google sound and airboats, was done 2 years ago through Florida Gulf Coast University, it proved that airboats could not meet those requirements. They looked at 20 different airboats with a variety of mufflers. Now, this tape that you're going to hear is me at 4:30 in the morning, and you appear to hear the sound of my slippers last October. I'd like to play that for 1 minute and then just one comment. Keep in mind, I'm walking a half mile from my home. I'm not in anyone's backyard. This is on the street. Homeless people are here. This is what they're hearing us. The airport is probably 500. This is going back to the house. It's 4:30 in the morning. I'm calling Lieutenant McGinley. And I got to know Lieutenant McGinley quite well during that time. I appreciate the county commissioner's efforts on behalf of those of us who need our sleep. You've seen some of the letters that have been written by some of these folks. I will say, just so, I think you all might be surprised, I'm not a big fan of government interference in our personal and private lives. I share a lot of sentiments of these folks. But I have a job to do in this county, and I take care of thousands of patients. I need my rest. We have a baby on the way in September, and I already am going to be sleep deprived as it is, even more than I am now. So I thank you for your vote.
Mr. Chairman, I call the question on the motion, please.
I have a